Well, here we are at Lakene. Absolutely wonderful. Let me take you down the road and show you. Well, here we are, and the entertainment has begun. Let me take you inside and show you this most fantastic of facilities here in Hagfors Kommun. So here we go. There are literally hundreds of people here today. And many of them dressed up in traditional dress. There was a concert that has just finished, but over the course of the days in front, there are many concerts here. The organisation, as you can see, with all the chairs. A young man dressed in a bowler hat. Well, let me take you up through. The grass and the moss below my shoes is so soft. Traditional materials. wedding chest. Beautiful flowers and beautiful people. Handmade mittens and handmade socks. And just look at that kitchen. Totally wood. And look at the locks. Incredible. A young lady dressed in traditional dress. And down, of course, to the Klarälven. Old anchors. When the Klarälven was an important route for goods, boats, and of course for fishing. Another gentleman walking off in traditional dress, top hat and tails. Beautiful watercolours by a young lady, and then into this tiny little church with its pews, and of course today it's art. You can just imagine when this was a community and this church was fully operational. It's tiny, but you can feel the vibes, you can feel how wonderful this place is. Once again, a little church to the glory of God. The old organ. And out to the Klarälven. The mighty Klarälven. An old grinding wheel. And here, I'm told, is an area where they used to keep the animals. Not what I can imagine these days. there are any animals here, but this was an area years ago. You can smell. But this was an old boiler house of some sort, and I can smell in the air. This is where somebody used to live years ago. Wooden floor, wooden ceiling, wooden walls, everything made from the forest. Charcoal. Here we are. You can come down here and read all about the charcoal making. Incredible. Well, let's move on. An area where the boats would be, and there are many boats. Well, let's go up and see the animal area where years ago animals actually stayed. And believe it or not, I cannot believe it, there is a beautiful beef animal here. And just look at her. She is beautiful. And another. I cannot believe when I came here that I would actually be seeing cows here. But there are. Something that was completely unexpected. Let me take you into their living quarters. Well, here we are, with the stalls and their young. Incredible. Well, we move on from the cows and the stalls and just look and admire that fencing. This is how fencing was made in Sweden before steel came and barbed wire. Well, I'm still in slight shock with reference to the cattle. It's not something I was expecting to see here. Again, another little concert area where here events are taking place almost all through the week. The modern day speakers, and of course a children's area for painting. And here is a young child waiting to paint. A bathtub being used for the cattle. Another beautiful little place where the young ladies have dressed up in traditional dress. May we come in?
Yes.
Thank you very much. The fire burning in the hearth. And just look at this cabin. And how tiny, but yet how beautiful. Beautiful place, beautiful people here in Hagfors Kommun. And the young ladies have granted us access to actually having a little film of them in their traditional dress, in the traditional way. Thank you, girls. Have a wonderful day. Another young lady in her traditional dress. Now, what is going on here, may I ask?
You may ask.
The young lady looks as if she is about to do something with butter. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm cleaning the butter.
Cleaning it?
Yes, with water.
Yep.
So, so the cream is getting out of the butter. So the water has to be really clear, and then it's finished. And then we take some salt.
Yep.
And we put it in the package.
Yep. And it's ready for consumption.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, as I leave these young ladies to get on with the cleaning of the butter, I'll take you round some more areas so you can see here how many things are going on and how much enjoyment there is for everyone. And here, believe it or not, is the main restaurant. Now, it looks to me as if it's totally packed out. There are queues of people waiting to be served. And again, a building totally made of timber. And some of the photographs of interesting things that happened in the past. So many people, so many beautiful Swedish people. Here the restaurant is busy. People loving traditional Swedish food, Swedish cuisine, and of course the happiness of being Swedes. The restaurant and the queues of people. As we go up, old pictures. Well, this is my first time in here. Very first time inside here. And I'm impressed. But almost anywhere you go in Hagfors Kommun, you don't cease to be impressed, because it is so wonderful as a commune and has got so much to offer all walks of life. There is museum after museum, and events, sports, and everything you could imagine. This is going in to a little traditional museum. Once again, I say, you cannot help to be anything other than impressed by the dedication and the love of the people who look after these places, keep them together. The light in here is slightly different, but I'm sure you're able to understand and see what I'm seeing. Old radios, telecommunication. Traditional ironing. So much for someone to come and look and study. Pictures of those that have long left us, but the memory of them still lasts. A room of weaving. Sewing. And many things that I've never seen before in my life. And I understand this area was primarily farming, timber, and then of course steel. And staying alive through the winter was an art in itself. Keeping warm and keeping one well. Making sure that you have the right nutritional value from that you're fundamentally taking from the rivers, the lakes and the forests. Storing during the winter time to keep one alive and to keep one healthy. Two young ladies selling jewelry, necklaces, brooches, and of course rings. Dedication, love in a most beautiful commune. And there a moose lies dead on the wall. Well, there's a lot to cover by walking around here. Each time I start to go in a building, I wonder what I'm going to find. Look at that handsome construction. Many years ago, when this was built and finished, there'd be huge celebration to what an achievement. Now the word swish is used, where before it was a promise. Isn't this beautiful? How can you fail to be impressed? This is where the fire used to burn. And now, just look. A buffet is being served here. And of course, traditional food for traditional people. And of course, when this building was built, there was not such a thing as electricity or running water. And up the stairs we go. Pictures of the royal family. The pelts of animals on the walls. And again, completely traditional Swedish furniture. And over here, a young lady making cloth. And I can imagine she's been doing it for a few years. How many years have you been making?
5 years.
5 years. And you love it?
Yes.
Well, let's take you to the next building. I know you're thinking this is going on and on and on. It is. But everything around here is different. Completely different. That goes up to the 3rd floor, which is used privately at the moment. And out we go into the next buildings. Past, of course, the German family here on holiday. Another row of buildings. 2 young people, totally dressed up in Swedish traditional costumes. The ice cream parlor. And now into the big 4. Oh, again, I wasn't expecting this. There is a case of bears and the howling of wolves. Old traps. Years ago, this whole area was covered in bears and wolves and many other animals that have disappeared over time. It puts a chill up you when you hear the howling of the wolves in the mountains. And there is a wolf chasing a large moose. Again, the light in here is slightly different. A bird of prey above. Capercaillies, grouse, wolverines, and another big wolf. Hedgehogs, lynx, and of course the raven. Well, that put the chill up me. But how beautiful. And what an amazing little museum in itself, in its own right. Beautiful little museum. Another little building here, tucked away on its own. As I walk down the path in the forest, and I see the size of the padlock on this building. I'm going to put my hand up against it and get you to understand how big this padlock is. It weighs many kilos. Well, you probably don't know what this is, and nor did I. This is a tiny little chapel. Tiny and beautiful, to the glory of God. You can just imagine what this was like 150 years ago. It says that it's 170 years old. 1850. Then there was not the modern car. This is the bell tower, calling those to church. This looks like a foundry. And it is a traditional foundry here. I remember when I used to have a horse called Blacksmith. The reason I called him Blacksmith is every time I put him in the stable, he made a bolt for the door. Young man, how long have you been doing this for? And there he is, the blacksmith himself.
Yes.
Incredible. How long have you been a blacksmith?
50 år.
Over 50 years?
Yes.
Whew. In Hagfors Kommun?
Ja. Ja. Exerad.
Exerad.
Ja.
The blacksmith. Over 50 years of service. to this wonderful community. And by the looks of him, he's still young and still got another 30 years in front of him. With the anvil, and look at the tools he's making. And there we go. Do you make the crosses outside? You do. Believe it or not, this gentleman makes the crosses that are outside the door. The ones that you see in the churchyard in Ekstrad and many of the other churchyards around Hagfors Kommun. This is one of his masterpieces, ready to go up in the churchyards itself. A young man with still many years in front of him to go. Many years to learn, to create, and to build the traditions that are steadfast in Hagfors Kommun. We now go into another beautiful little house. Let me take you inside and show you again the beauty. Here we open the door and here we are. Believe it or not, these are ladies making traditional bread, and all of them have one thing in common: a smile on their face and loving what they're doing. Look at the furniture and look at the dedication. Traditional cloth, traditional bread, and I can assure you that the taste is beyond comprehension. A little bit of traditional cheese or lingen and your taste buds are jumping up and down. Thank you, girls. Have a wonderful day.
Gleichfalls.
So here we are above the bakery, and here are some traditional dresses and traditional things. Photos of those long past, but not forgotten. Hats and people dressed in traditional dress. A young man that looks almost like a little butler. Shoes and a pelt pair of trousers. Again, you've got to understand when you come into this place, the years gone past and the struggle. This is a school where it was heated by the stove and education of the children would take place. Maps of places like Africa, places of course like Värmland, number, the blackboard, books, and of course the human body. It is amazing to understand that we know less about the human body than we do about our planet. So this is how it was years upon years ago. There was still education taking place, but of course with the candlelight, with the warmth of the stove, not electricity. So all of us have got to understand traditions of the past and of course education for the future. books are important. It's important to be able to understand a computer, but still be able to write, and still be able to read from a paper book, rather than a screen on your Apple Mac. And that's what this place is all about. It's about tradition and getting you to understand our past, so that we can, of course, learn for our future. So going out from that building, again, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. And coming in to the Crafts Centre. I know this video is going on and on, but you've got to understand, this is fantastic. Carved timber from the forest. Traditional pottery. Mittens and doilies. Hats. Witches on their brooms. Absolutely unbelievable. You see, here in Hagfors Kommun, there are wildly dedicated people. Look how beautiful. And I'm going to stop for a minute and just look. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Baskets made by hand. There's actually a lady here making them as she speaks. A young lady knitting. Most beautiful mittens. Mittens for all, children and adults. And here, pillows with dogs and even pussycats. Handmade hats and beautiful mittens of different colours, and again, all totally traditional. Brushes, again made by hand. This is not manufactured. The lady is actually making these as I am recording this video. Old horse carts. This is what timber would have been brought in on years ago, with the horse in front. And again, another place I wasn't expecting. I definitely wasn't expecting this. Snow carts, horse-drawn. Beautiful art.
Oh.
An old incubator. And this is how the hay was cut. The seeds were planted. And an old fire engine. Again, I've got to say that this is a commune of 11,500 people. Isn't that incredible?
När var det?
Ja, jag har en gammal katalog, och det var på 50-talet på ett tag.
60.
60-talet.
Jaha.
Var det? Nej, 50 tror jag.
Ja.
50-tal tror jag. Jag vet gubbar som köpt sån där, och det var ju till
This museum is full of guns.
Och siktet var ju så högt, sen fick det vara högt över 40 fram.
Det var till chansa fram.
Ja, det var ju det. Det var ju det.
Men de var ju så snabbt på varandra.
The kiosk. And of course next door, the little shop. As it was hundreds of years ago. The old till with the modern form of payment, swish. Candies in the old candy jars. Well, there we are. What a place. What a traditional, beautiful and wonderful place. Here, just outside Rhoda.